And this is the Death Knight 725 update, and we'll go ahead and start off with Unholy. Now, again, the layout has changed to match the new profile outlook. Just a couple other things, such as the rune colors. They will now change color as you change specs, and I've adjusted the rotation just slightly since 7.2 launched. Now, Unholy is one of those rotations that, with gear, it becomes much better. As you get more gear, the rotation flows a little better, you start getting runes much quicker, and especially with tier pieces and things like that. So when I'm testing it out, I can only test it so much. On the PTR, I was able to do much more testing with legendaries and things like that, so it was definitely a lot easier. So if you are a lower geared character, it might seem that things are going very slow or that it's clunky. Unfortunately, that's just how the class is. It's not a very quick DPS class as it is. It's all about consistent damage rather than aggressive damage. But the rotation has been tweaked so that you should see more Scourge Strikes, you should see your dots being carried much better, and just all of your cooldowns along with your runic power, they should merge together quite nicely, more so than before. And when you're using talents like Dark Arbiter, it will have you store up your runic power as much as possible so that you can get the most effect out of it. But all in all, the rotation hasn't changed significantly going into the patch. There was only just a few damage tweaks from the patch itself, so you should see that you do more DPS than you did before. Now, for Frost, I redid the rotation completely, and I just want to go over what exactly I did. The rotation kind of all stems around how you use Breath of Sindragosa. And whether or not you have the talent, the rotation is very basic without it, but with it, you actually have to take a lot of consideration how you use your abilities, when you use them, and things like that. So I went ahead and redid the entire thing based off of Simcraft and from personal testing and information I got from other Death Knights. And the way I've set it up now is that it'll tell you when to use Breath of Sindragosa, and it'll have you maximize the amount of runic power you store up. It'll also tell you to use Hungering Rune Weapon if that's a talent you've taken, and it'll just basically try and keep the maximum amount of runic power you can possibly have so that you maintain Breath of Sindragosa for as long as you possibly can. For me, on my Death Knight, I can only maintain it for so long. I don't have a lot of gear, as I said, but I was still able to maintain it for a considerable amount of time. As you can see here, it's still just going. And all the other conditions and everything else are tailored around whether or not the buff is active, if you have the talent, and how long you have left on the cooldown, and it all goes from there. So you should see some vast improvements in how it interplays with the rotation, and overall the rotation will feel a lot smoother than it did before. So if you like Frost, yeah, you should really like what's been done here. Now, moving forward into Blood, Blood has the same sort of layout as the other tank profile that I've shown off being Paladin, where it's, again, mostly cooldowns, and it just has the layout to reflect that. A couple things about the Blood rotation is that it is designed around survival, not necessarily DPS. It's designed around using your cooldowns to keep up your Bone Shield as well as get the most out of Death Strike based on your health and just your runic power, and the rest of it is just filler spells, just for when there literally is nothing else to go on, and that's just one thing to keep in mind. So if you're looking at the rotation for Blood and wondering why you're only doing X amount of damage, because it's not really designed to be a DPS rotation. Designed to give you an idea of what buttons you should press at that moment, but realistically, when you're playing a tank, it's always important to know when and what abilities to use based on the situation as it is. But anyway, moving on to the actual layout, all the cooldowns are set up on a bar, all on their own. Those are all your defensive cooldowns, and then I put the 2 grips on the top just to make it easier for you to track how long you have on those. Being a Blood tank, those are very important. But yeah, I hope you guys like what you see, and I will catch you in the next video.